Everybody. So nothing new today. We're just going to do a little review of graphing and substitution, okay? So take your graph paper out if you have some, just to make sure you can go along. Seems like I'm a little off here. Okay, so again, today we are still solving systems. So the goal is to get the ordered pair that works in both equations, okay? So look here, both of these are in slope-intercept form. Just be careful, some of them have a minus sign, which really means a negative y-intercept. Okay, so the first one, I'm going to start at -4, and then I'm going to rise 1, run 3. And as long as it's in slope-intercept form, it's really nice, right? Okay, so make sure positive slope through -4. You are using a straight edge because it's just more accurate. Okay, this starts at -1 now, and know that the slope is -2/3. So that means I go down 2 over 3. Oh, look, you can even see. But again, I wanted to do the red line, the first line, all the way through, just because I don't know where they're going to hit. So again, negative slope here. Now, this is my solution. My solution is the ordered pair over 3, down 3. Voila! Now, graphing these, here's the only problem, not in slope-intercept form. So look at that first one. I'm just going to rewrite it here. So I have -y plus x minus 2 equals 0. Okay, here's the one thing. If you see a negative, if this is a big long equation like this, I'm going to add y because I just want to get y by itself. Ooh, do you see how that works? So I have x, or I'm just going to put a 1x there so I don't forget that, minus 2 equals 0 plus y is just y. Now I'm going to flip-flop these around, and I'm going to put, actually, I'm just going to put the y out front. So I'm going to put y equals and leave the rest as it is, 1x minus 2. Oh, I can graph that one. Okay, so it starts at -2, and my slope is +1, which means 1 over 1. So over 1, up 1. That's the easy one. And again, please extend it because the first line, we don't know where the second line's going. So it's just easier to do it like that. Okay, next one we're going to do over here. Okay, so we have 9 minus 3y equals 2x. So I'm going to start by minusing 9. Now remember, that's really a -3y. So I have -3y equals, now I want my x first because that is slope-intercept form. And I'm going to divide everything by -3. Remember, that is a -9. Leave the fraction a fraction because that is my slope, -2/3 x. And a -9 divided by a -3 is just 3. Okay, so I'm going to start at 3, and my slope is a -2, +3, down 2 over 3. Oh, it's a nice, imagine how that happens. Okay, so again, where do they cross? Right there, 3, 1, and that's my solution. Okay, graphing can be really nice, but there was a lot of work getting it in slope-intercept form. Now, I didn't give you a graph, and it says substitution, and right here, I noticed one of my variables is by itself. Y is by itself. So I'm going to substitute -5x minus 22 in for y. Okay, so over here, I'm going to do a -2x plus 2. Now, instead of y, I put -5x minus 22. And I still have that equals 16 at the end. Don't forget about that. Okay, now I get to distribute, and I have to solve for my variable. That gives me a negative 10x when I distribute, and a negative 44, because 2 times negative 22 is negative 44. Okay, how many x's do I have? I have a negative 12x, and I'm copying everything else, so I'm showing all my work so I don't make a little piddly mistake. Okay, I'm going to add 44, and I'm going to take out my calculator then. And I get 60. And then in my calculator, I'm going to divide 60 by negative 12. And I'm going to get a negative 5. Okay, again, negative 5 is x. Either equation, but again, the one that has the variable by itself is easier. So instead of x, I want to put a negative 5. So y equals negative 5 times x, which is negative 5 minus 22. And then you can put your do this in your calculator, but that is negative 5 times negative 5 is 25, minus 22 is just 3. And my final answer is x, which is negative 5, y, which is 3. Okay, again, both just doing the same thing, but solving it slightly differently. Let's do one last one. Okay, so again, y is by itself, and we are used to that because of slope-intercept form. Now make sure you only put that in for y, not for y, just y. Okay, so I'm going to leave the 3x, I'm going to leave the minus 4. Now, instead of the y in parentheses, I'm going to put negative 2x minus 12, and that equals negative 7 at the end is still there. Okay, I'm going to be careful and not lose any of my signs because I see there's a lot of them there. So I have 3x. Now, a negative 4 times a negative 2 is a positive 8x. And a negative 4 times a negative 12 in my calculator is a positive 48. If you don't trust me, take your calculator out and check. Okay, now combine your like terms. That's 11. And I'm copying the rest down. Okay, minus 48. So 11x equals, taking my calculator out, negative 7 minus 48 is negative 55. And I divide by a positive 11, and that gives me negative 5. And you're like, whoo, not done yet. I need my y. So I go back into either one. I'm going to pick the top one because y is already by itself. And instead of an x here, I'm going to put a negative 5. So it's y equals negative 2 times x, which is negative 5 minus 12. And then I'm just going to do the math. A negative times a negative is a positive. Keep change gives me a negative 2. But my final answer is the ordered pair where x is first and y is second. Okay? Okay, so make sure you're understanding both graphing and substitution. Got a nice little review. Do graphing when it asks for graphing. Do substitution when it does substitution. And make sure you have graph paper out for today's formative, okay? Okay, guys, have a great time. Let me know if you need help. I would love to help you. Have a great day. Bye.